Hi there, welcome to another jewelry making video at my YouTube channel and my blog, keepsakecrafts.net. Today we're going to be making this leather cord wrap bracelet with beads. It's a design that's been floating around the internet for a while, but it's a really easy thing to do and great if you want to make gifts and use up the supplies you have on hand. So to make the bracelet you will need an assortment of beads and some leather cord. Here I have just a spool of 1mm leather cord. You can use any color you like. The trickiest part of this whole design is finding beads that have a hole large enough for the cord to go through. So you'll have to go through your stash and find them. I've pulled out a selection of pinks and some silver spacers. You'll need a clasp. Now you can use a toggle clasp or you can use a button. I'll show you how to do that as well. And then the only other tool you'll need is a pair of scissors. So the first thing you need to do is cut two long, like 10-foot long lengths of your leather cord. After you've cut your two 10-foot long lengths of cord, if you're going to use a button, you simply slide the two ends through the shank of the button and then center the button on the cord. You do want to find one that has a shank that's wide enough for your cord to pass through twice. Or if you're using a toggle clasp, you do the same thing, passing both cords through the loop of the toggle. And if you need to, you can use your scissors to cut these cords at a point. It'll make it easier to thread on your beads. Center the clasp piece on the cord, bringing all four ends together. So there's my clasp piece at the center of the cords, and now I'm just going to make an overhand knot, and you would do the exact same thing if you were using the button here. And just pull on each cord individually to make that knot nice and snug and tight. And now you can start stringing on your beads. And what I'm going to do is kind of mix up my beads. And then I'm going to arrange them. I'm going to make this wrap bracelet wrap around the wrist twice. So that'll be about 14 inches. So I'm going to arrange these in a row about 14 inches long. I've got like my main beads, these ones and these fuchsia ones, kind of spaced evenly throughout. So then all you do is start stringing a bead onto a cord, slide it down, and then make a loop and poke the end of the cord through that loop and make a knot to hold your bead in place. And how frequently you space them is entirely up to you. And this one I didn't put a knot after the clasp, but I think I will now, to keep my next one from moving up too much. Just make a loop, poke the end through, slide on a bead. Try not to worry too much about these being random, just pick up the next one your hand goes to. Slide it down. And then make a knot. Again, you don't have to hold them tight in place, but you can if you want to. I could put a knot right next to that. I like to let them float around a little bit on the cord. And let's see, my next one I want to put a knot right next to those, so I'm going to put a knot up here. Try to have them staggered along the length. And you could put more than one bead in a section if you want. And then you just carry on, placing beads along the entire length of the cord until you can wrap it around your wrist 2 times. So now I have finished knotting and stringing all of my beads, and I did use all those beads. It was about 65 beads. I used them all. And now we just need to finish it up, and it's quite simple. I'm just going to gather all 4 strands together, making sure that they're even. And then I'm going to bring them down here and make an overhand knot using all 4. Now that you have your knot made, it's a good idea to take a little strong glue like E6000. I like to use E6000 on this because it's flexible. Super glue will hold, but it dries hard and kind of brittle and it can crack off. But this stuff flexes a bit, as does your leather. So you just take a little bit and then just tuck some in that knot just to hold those cords in place. And then what I'm going to do, since this cord will only fit 1 strand through the other part of my toggle, I'm going to trim off 2 of these cords. And this is one important reason for the glue, just to make sure that nothing comes undone. Then I'm going to slide one of my strands. And you can see here 10 feet was maybe a little bit long, but depending on how many beads you add and the size of your bracelet, the stuff isn't so expensive and it's a good idea to just have a little extra. And then all I'm going to do here is make another overhand knot right after the toggle. Because this is a leather bracelet, it's kind of rustic looking, I think the look is fine. Again, a little dab of E6000 just tucked in there with a toothpick. And then I'm just going to trim these at a jaunty angle. Let me just show you. If you were using the button on the other end, if you started that way, all you need to do is make a loop here. Make sure it's just big enough to go over your button. That's a little too big. You want it just big enough. And then you would take these loops and make a knot below that other knot. And that would be your closure for your button. And now I can wrap it around my wrist twice. Do up the toggle. And there it is. A really pretty, full, colorful bracelet. Here's another look at the bracelet we made today. I hope you liked this project and you'll give it a try. I think this kind of bracelet is a great way to use up lots of different odds and ends of beads in your collection. You can gather together a whole bunch on a certain theme, color, or style, and get yourself something really nice. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a like and share it with your friends who would enjoy it as well. You can follow me on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and on my blog. And there are a couple more videos up on the screen for you to check out. Thanks for watching. Happy creating. Bye-bye.